G'day guys, today we're going to mix things up a little bit, and instead of talking about Warhammer 40k tactics and strategy, instead of talking about any Warhammer 40k hobby or painting related material, we're going to mix up 4 unique chaos themed cocktails. That's right, we're going to get the YouTube algorithm a little bit drunk, we're going to do something completely out of left field, and we're going to make some chaos themed cocktails today. At the very least, I hope you guys get a laugh out of this and maybe enjoy the content for the shits and giggles of it. But potentially you might get inspired to make some of these cocktails yourself. I'm a huge fan of cocktails. I love them to death. So I thought I'd share that passion with you guys today with some 40k themed, chaos themed cocktails. So with that being said, let's get into the first drink of the night.
Look for the blood god.
Alrighty, the first drink of the night is called She Who Thirsts. We're going to be taking Bacardi white rum, Parfait Amour, which is a musk stick flavored liqueur. It's absolutely delicious, and Soho lychee flavored liqueur to make a real fruity, sweet, delicious purple cocktail that would make Slaaneshi proud. Alright, first thing you're going to need to make this drink is a cocktail shaker. We're going to take 1/2 of our shaker and fill her up with ice. Alrighty, to that shaker we're going to add 1 shot or 30 milliliters of Bacardi white rum. I really like Bacardi as a mixer because I find it doesn't overpower the cocktail and also doesn't change the color of the cocktail. So it's a really good ingredient if you want to add a little bit more alcoholic punch to your drinks. Then we're going to add the Soho lychee liqueur. This stuff is absolutely delicious. You could drink it straight out of the bottle if you wanted to, but it also goes really fantastically in cocktails. Then we're going to add the Parfait Amour, which is going to give us that nice purple color and also add to the flavor profile with that sweet candy musk stick flavor. We're going to add 2 shots of this one, so 60 mils, because it's the main theme of the drink. All right, next up, we're going to give her a nice shake, make sure that she's nice and mixed. All right, and then we're just going to strain that into a standard martini glass. Going to garnish this by adding a couple of black berries to the drink and stabbing one onto the rim of the glass. If you wanted to, you could run it around the rim and then put some sugar on there to give it a little bit of an extra lolly kind of flavor. And then to give it that little bit more of a gory kind of 40k feel, we're going to drop some grenadine on the side of that black currant to make it look like it's bleeding. Alrighty guys, that's how we make a She Who Thirsts cocktail. Cheers. That's tasty. Alright, next up we have a slightly unconventional take on one of my all-time favorite cocktails, the Whiskey Sour. This one we're calling the Sloppity Sourpox. It's got American honey as your whiskey base. We're adding a little bit of creme de menthe in there to mix it up a little bit. And you got your sugar syrup, your egg yolks. We're going to add lime and lemon, which again breaks from the traditional whiskey sour mold, but it's going to be a delicious cocktail nonetheless. Let's get into making this drink. Okay, so one of the defining features of a whiskey sour is that foam on top of the drink, and I find the best way to do that is to add 2 egg whites for your drink. It takes a little bit more time, but it does make it a lot more foamy, a lot more airy, and a lot lighter of a drink. So we're going to grab 2 eggs, and we're going to get the whites out of them. Now the best way I find to do this is just crack the egg into your hand, and let the white slip between your fingers, using your fingers to snap it off, and then get rid of your yolk. Alright, to that we're going to add 1/2 of a lemon of lemon juice. And then we're also going to add some lime. And because this is a Warhammer 40k hobby cocktail night, I'm going to use my hobby knife to cut my lime. A good way to get more juice out of your limes is to roll them and sort of in your hand and soften them up, bruise the insides, because that'll loosen up all the juices on the inside. And it'll make it a lot easier to squeeze that juice into your drink. Alright, and the last ingredient we need to add there is your sugar syrup. So you can either add sugar itself with a little bit of water, or you can just add pre-purchased sugar syrup. You can add as much as you like. I'm a real sweet tooth kind of guy, so I like adding a full shot of the sugar syrup. However, some people call for less in their ingredients and their recipes. But fuck them, we're making my drink tonight. Now we're going to give it a dry shake where we don't add any ice to the shaker. and that's going to help those ingredients mix together without diluting them at all. All right, now that we've got the base for our whiskey sour, we're going to add the critical ingredient, which is the American honey. Now you can add any bourbon-based or whiskey-based spirit you like. I'm a huge fan of the American honey. I think it's fucking delicious, and I think it makes for a really great whiskey sour. And now we're going to add the part which is going to make it the pestilent pleasure of any Nurgle aficionado, which is the creme de menthe, which is a mint-flavored liqueur. It's going to give it a nice green tinge. You're going to go for another dry shake. We're going to take your standard whiskey glass, top her up with some big ice blocks, strain it over the top. We're going to garnish with a slice of lime, and there you have your Sloppity Sourpox. Alrighty guys, now we're going to change things up a little bit and we're going to make Tzeentch's Blue Firestorm, which is going to be a shot instead of a cocktail. So we're still going to be mixing different liqueurs together to make interesting and unique flavor profiles, but it's going to be done in the form of a shooter, which is a 500ml shot glass. Alrighty guys, for this one we're going to be mixing blue curacao, nice and simple, with some Bacardi rum, and we're going to do a couple of little things to change the flavor profile slightly and add a little bit of a unique look to the shot to make it a little bit more interesting. So let's get stuck straight into mixing this drink. Alright, we're going to start with 1 shot of blue curacao. We're going to add 2 shots of the Bacardi. Add a few cubes of ice to your drink there. And here's one of our first special ingredients, which is silver luster, which is essentially edible glitter. We're going to just fucking throw a whole bunch of that shit in there. And then we're going to shake it up. We're going to strain that into our shooter glass. And then to give it a little bit more of an interesting look, we're going to add a little bit of grenadine to this drink as well. Grenadine is nice and heavy, so it's going to sink to the bottom and give it that color changing feel, which is going to look perfect for a drink dedicated to the Change Lord Tzeentch. And there we have it, guys, the flickering flames or the blue fire of Tzeentch. Cheers. Delicious. Alrighty guys, and last but absolutely not least, we have Skull for the Skull Throne. Now this one we're going to be mixing Bacardi, we're going to be mixing cranberry juice, we're going to be mixing in red wine, and we're going to be mixing in lychee liqueur with a little bit of grenadine to give it that blood-soaked gore kind of flavor. Now this drink is to be served tall, it's to be served big, and it must be sculled. So let's get into mixing this drink. Alright, the first thing to mention with this drink is that you want to make sure that all of your ingredients have been chilled, because we don't want to put any ice in this drink because it's going to make it very difficult to scull, and we don't want to mix the drink because it's going to be very, very tall. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take our Bacardi, which won't be chilled traditionally, but if you have the chance, put it in the freezer, and then you'll get a nice cold liqueur. And we're going to put 2 shots of the Bacardi in there. Alright, next up is 2 shots of the lychee liqueur. Alright, next ingredient to add is our red wine. I prefer a sweet red wine. For this we're using Brown Brothers Sienna, but you could use any red wine that you do like. I'm a huge sweet tooth, so I like the red that's sweet, and Sienna is absolutely fantastic for that. We're going to add 3 shots of this one to give it a nice deep dark red colour. Then we're going to top the glass up with some cranberry juice and a couple drops of grenadine, and by that I mean a good squirt. Alrighty guys, there's your Skulls for the Skull Throne. Cheers. Cheers. I hope you guys enjoyed that video as much as I enjoyed these drinks. And if you did, let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. And we'll get straight back to our competitive 40k focus soon. I just wanted to mix things up a little bit, quite literally and figuratively and metaphorically. Make some drinks, share my passion for cocktails with you guys. So let me know if you found this interesting or if you regret the fact that I even made this fucking video. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.
Walk for the Blood God.
The Warhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor a mad cunt like Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel,